Good evening. Welcome to Montclair Film. We are so happy to host you here tonight, and we welcome you to the conversation, Women in Real Life, the Voices Behind the Camera. My name is Beth Gott, and I'm the Executive Director and Co-Head here at Montclair Film. And again, we are so grateful to have you. We want to thank our partners tonight at the NJEDA for supporting and working with us to make tonight's event possible. We're so grateful for your enduring support. A few quick housekeeping announcements and upcoming events. On March 14th, aka 314, we have a special screening of Darren Aronofsky's Pi. So you can join us for a special screening at the Claridge, and we're giving away a copy of the film, so we hope you'll join us on Thursday night. And then on March 18th at the Claridge, we have a special one-time screening of Fioretta, along with a Q&A with the film subjects Randy and Joey Schoenberg. It will be a great conversation, so we hope you can join us for that. And then for those of you who are budding filmmakers or have students who are budding filmmakers, our summer academy classes, specifically 6th grade through 12th grade, and then our adult spring and summer classes are now on sale. One thing, we want to learn a little bit more about you. So tonight, before you leave, we have a QR code in the lobby, and we'd love for you to just scan. Tell us who you are. I'm curious, how many, just quick show of hands, how many of you are Montclair residents? Whoa, it's a good Montclair crowd. How many of you are in the film industry? Awesome. Any students in the house tonight? No, okay. Oh, yay, perfect. Sorry, not to point you out. No, you are. Loud and proud. We love it. So, we do these events, and we always like to hear from our audience, and one of the things that makes Montclair Film so unique is that we can be responsive to our audience. So take a second, fill out the survey, tell us who you are, tell us what you're interested in. We have a series of panels planned with the NJEDA this year, and so it's your chance to give us some suggestions about things that you'd like to hear or conversations that you'd like to know more about. So for tonight, as we continue to celebrate Women's History Month, we're really proud to present this look inside of the women in the film industry right here in New Jersey. And we are so New Jersey proud, and we are so proud of the work that the NJEDA and the Film Commission has done to really grow filmmaking in the state of New Jersey. And we're going to introduce you to some of the powerhouses behind that. So our panelists, it's a big panel, so hold your applause. We're going to have Sara Corrigan, who's part of post-production. Come on out and join us. Janice Kovach, she's the commissioner of NJMPTV and the mayor of Clintontown, New Jersey. We have Catherine Minervini, the studio director for Image 819. Elizabeth Parchment from the NJEDA. Nina Sloan, who's a line producer at UPM and assistant director. We have Kim Woodard, a co-founder and co-president of Lucky 8. And tonight's moderator, she's a film and TV producer, Gail Barringer. And I'll just ask our audience, I think we've got a few Montclair crowd here, maybe this end. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Beth. And welcome, everyone. We have a wonderful panel of very exceptional women who I look forward to getting to know even more. I'm going to start off with everybody's a little bio on who's up here with me tonight, and then we're going to get into some questions about what they do in the industry and what they find it's like to be a woman in the industry, especially in New Jersey. I'm going to start with Sara Corrigan. Sara began her 35-year post-production career as an assistant editor on TV commercials and then transitioned to working as an assistant editor on narrative feature films. For the past 20 years, she has been editing movies of many different genres. Most recently, she was a visual effects editor on Rustin, such a good movie. She was the editor of Summoning Sylvia, a horror comedy film which was nominated for both a GLAAD and Queerty in their awards in their outstanding feature film category. Welcome, Sara. Janice Kovach is the mayor of Clinton. That's very impressive. In 2017, along with her business partner, Janice took her passion for film and established the Rivertown Film Festival, a nonprofit in Hunterdon County. The RTFF explores the theme of community throughout the independent film lens. Each film must encourage conversations surrounding and enhancing our understanding of community. She also worked with the Hunterdon County Economic Development to establish the Hunterdon County Film Commission, for which she chairs. It's very impressive. Welcome. Catherine Minervini As a studio director for Image 819, a boutique motion design company, Catherine oversees marketing, operations, and business development, contributing to the studio's reputation for creating dynamic visual experiences. Catherine is a seasoned professional in the creative industry. Elizabeth Parchment is from the NJEDA. She serves as the primary architect for multi-channel efforts to market New Jersey's leadership in film, as well as the economic benefits of a strong film industry and state. Given the steady influx of production activity, Elizabeth led the development of the state's Film Ready New Jersey program. Big fan. And it's designed to certify counties and municipalities as film ready and prepare to cooperate with the movie and TV producers. So welcome. And Nina Sloan has decades of freelance line producing, UPM, and assistant directing work under her belt for major commercial brands like Nike, Maybelline, NBC Olympic promos, ESPN, Budweiser, NFL films, Chick-fil-A. I mean, it goes on and on. It's amazing. New Jersey Lottery. Nina has gone all over the globe doing this career. She's been to Hong Kong, Portugal, Vancouver, Toronto, and working throughout the United States. So lots to talk about. Welcome. And Kim Woodard. Hi, Kim. She's the co-founder and co-president of the award-winning production company Lucky 8, which creates unscripted content for broadcast and cable networks, as well as streaming platforms. Since the company's 2014 inception, Kim has executive produced hundreds of hours of programming, encompassing nearly every unscripted and nonfiction genre, from formatted reality and docuseries to true crime, food, comedy, science, and much more. So welcome. So I want to mix it up and start the conversation. Let's go with Catherine. No pressure. Can you describe your company to us and your services?
Joy. Oh, this is on. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. Like Gail said, I'm the studio director for Image 819. We are a boutique motion design studio. So we're a little bit different than everyone else up here on the panel. We do a lot in live events. We create everything that's on the screen. So anything from concert tours, we do conferences, we do a lot of award shows. We just finished up Billboard Women in Music. We've done Billboard Latin Music Week. We also do big events that are more in the entertainment category, such as events like opening events at the Fontainebleau new hotel in Las Vegas. And so we're very small. We bring on teams as we need them. We'll scale up or down depending on what we're working on. And we are really known for doing visuals that are on very big surfaces. So LED mapping, we also do projection mapping, say in spaces or on buildings. And so we are really focused on that. We have done some work in film, but we're usually a vendor on the film, not necessarily part of the bigger production. So I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about some of what we do.
Yeah, well, it's interesting for those of you who so you're kind of different than what I do. By the way, I'm Gail Barringer, and I'm an executive producer on television shows you might have seen on streamers or networks. I've been doing this for about 30 years, and I love to work in New Jersey. I love to bring shows to New Jersey. I produced Law & Order SVU here back in 1999 for 10 years in New Jersey, and I've done Wu-Tang, American Saga here. I love shooting New Jersey, so we'll keep talking about that. But Catherine, you know, my question for you is, for someone like me, I'm a freelancer. I work job to job. For what you do, it sounds like you kind of have your year scheduled. Yes? Like,
yes and no.
Yeah. Can we talk about that? I'm curious.
Yeah, that is a goal of ours. My focus primarily is on operations, marketing, and business development. So I'm always looking for the next gig. In fact, I'm also working on taking our skill set and trying to really apply it to new categories. So for instance, live entertainment during COVID, there was no live entertainment, so we were pretty dark. And so coming out of that, we had to really change our business strategy. So we are looking at things like film. We have really been working on developing a relationship with the New Jersey Film Commission. And also, like I said, our bread and butter is in live entertainment. But yes, especially when you're working on award shows, it tends to be, award seasons are, throughout the course of the year. And then because of our relationships, we'll just get calls from those executive producers or screens directors or whomever saying, are you available for this event? And then we'll work on a live event in between. So, the goal is to have it be more regular, but it doesn't always work out that way. So.
No, thank you. It's interesting because since 2020, what's happened in our industry? COVID. And then last year, we just came off of the Writers Guild and Screen Actors Guild strikes. Those have affected all of our companies, all of our industries, everything that we do. So it's something that we're going to be talking about tonight as well. So you'll hear me talk about that, which takes me to Kim, because I think what you do is very interesting. And I wondered, I don't want to say everything you're doing is unscripted, because it's not. It's what we were talking about, true crime, food, comedy, but it's not the kind of thing that I do, which is scripted television. And I'm curious, how has that format been for you how have you fared through COVID and the strikes? Are you seeing an influx in what the content is coming at you? Are you getting more and more asks for that? And can you talk about it?
Sure. I think that I wish the answer was yes. And I think that there was the expectation in the nonfiction part of the industry that we would get a lot more work, because that's what happened the last time there was a big writer's strike, right? It was like the birth of reality television, and it kind of changed the TV landscape. But this time, I think that everybody was obviously affected by COVID, right? Like all parts of the media industry were hit. But then there was all of a sudden this incredible appetite for programming, and it was easiest to get unscripted programming going, right? So our industry became really busy, really quickly. And then it was like a boom, and then there was a crash because there was too much, right? And so what you're seeing in my part of the industry, like my major clients are AETN, which is A&E, History Channel, Lifetime, Discovery, Netflix, Nat Geo, Discovery. There's just this incredible consolidation happening, right? Where you kind
definitely.
I was kind of astonished last year where at least once a week the front page of the Wall Street Journal had the consolidation of one media company with another, right?
Yeah.
And so what it's meant is that kind of the strikes were at the least my part of the industry's worries. Like it wasn't a worry, and there also wasn't the like, oh, there's a need now for more unscripted. Like what we were hearing from all of our clients is our budgets are all declining. We're being told that we have fewer dollars to commission programming, so we're commissioning less programming across the board. And so that just means there's less work for everybody, unfortunately.
Right. It's challenging. I mean, things that come across my desk are, we need you to make quality programming with less dollars and less time. And when I started out in the television side of this industry, I worked in a Law and Order. It was a procedural. And now what I'm learning is the request for procedurals are back and stronger than ever. Why? It's just a format that isn't as expensive. You have a beginning, middle, end, and you can shoot it for X amount of dollars. But when you're competing against these amazing shows like A Game of Thrones, which is not shot in this country because it's too expensive, it's challenging. And how do you make quality programming with the money you have? How you do that? Tax incentives. That's why I love New Jersey. So we'll keep talking about that. But before we do, I would like to chat with Nina and hear about your experiences and the work that you've done here, traveling all around the world. What can you talk about? What are the differences for you when you're out, when you're not here, let's say? What are the strong points of?
Well, it showed me that wherever you go in the world, there is a film community that does exactly what you do, just in a different language. And it's super cool to like plunk yourself down. It could be Hong Kong, and there is your counterpart there. You understand the same industry, and it works for the process and what your needs are. So you understand each other, so to speak.
Totally, yeah.
So that always feels really good because it's just repeating your own world in another world. The logistics obviously are things that you need help with, and understanding different sort of customs or ways things are done in different countries. But for the most part, the process is the same. And it feels really good that when you've accomplished it and come home with good footage and on time, on budget, and you've gotten to see another city, hopefully spend a couple more days there to just get some personal time. So
Exactly.
it's
A little
really fun.
unwind. Yes, it's very gratifying.
And the downside, obviously, is I'm away from my family. I do appreciate coming back, working in New Jersey, even more so than working in New York or Brooklyn. It's great not to have to, cross two rivers. Your time becomes really valuable, and in production, we all know production is not for sissies. And the days are really long, so that when you're shooting in New Jersey, your day might be long, but you're home sooner.
Right.
And, it's much better,
Good.
much more comfortable.
Welcome back. Sara, I'm impressed with what you do because I feel like you're a jack of all trades. You know what I mean? You go from edit. I'd like to talk or hear about your experiences with going between editing, visual effects. It's different for me. When I deal with, I have a whole editing department and a VFX department. Do you mix and match? Is it a seamless transition when you go back and forth? And how is that changing with AI?
Right. Well, luckily, I did see a little AI when I was doing the visual effects on Rustin, and I kind of didn't even realize what I was looking at until it all blew up in my face afterwards. So I was like, oh, this is a digi-double? Because normally I'm editing movies, and I'm usually doing the visual effects for myself, and I'm not, I farm them out later, maybe at the very end of the show, but I'm doing temp effects. So when I got hired on Rustin, I was like, wow, this is cool. I actually replaced the visual effects editor who went on to another job. And so my job was very technical, very stringent. I found that as a daydreamer, I could not daydream on this job. I was like, oh my God, like I really had to focus. Like it was all numbers and working with vendors. I had about 5 different visual effects vendors to work with. And then, of course, picking up the movie after everyone's been working on it for a year. And I'm like, what? So I had to figure out what happened and what the story was. I didn't even see the movie until weeks, months, maybe, after I started the job. And I said, I really do need to see the movie, in order to know what I'm doing. So finally, they gave me the cut of the movie to look at. In terms of like the visual effects, though, in addition to not being able to daydream, it's really a focused job, and you really have to just juggle a lot of pieces because there's thousands of pieces. Rustin is a lot of effects. I know I did sign an NDA agreement, so I don't know how much I can tell you. The film is released. I just don't know what that means, but basically there's a lot of effects in Rustin, and you won't even know it. You wouldn't even see them because they're supposed to blend. We're in the 60s in Washington, D.C. during the big Martin Luther King speech, so there are not 250,000 extras there.
No, we like to tile those.
Yeah.
Sarah's being very humble, friends. I just went, I'm kind of geeking out today. I went it's been a while, my first color timing in person, because I wanted to ask you if you work from home. The minutia and the detail, which for you, I'm sure you're like, in, out, boo, 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 boo. It's very impressive, and it's such an art to watch what we're doing on set come to another level of beauty. I mean, we spend a lot of time lighting and shooting, and all our little mistakes can go away. And it's very impressive. And I feel that way with visual effects. I can say it, I didn't sign an NDA on the show. I'm working on a show called Elsbeth for CBS. We made a tennis court in an empty arena, an ice hockey arena. We brought in the floor. What we had there was all of the bleachers in the stadiums. And we did a tiling unit, so we could fill it in with 250,000 extras. We probably won't use that many. But we did it so, because I don't have the money to have 200,000 people come in, we have to do it digitally. I don't think that's AI. I'm not smart enough to say, is that AI or not? But it is, yes, it's crazy. So just from someone like me who's so on the physical side to learn more and more as I do this, and it's ever changing. So how do we as an industry keep up with all of these changes? Anyone want to answer that? What do you think?
Am I on the spot for this
I'm
one?
looking at you, yeah.
Well, I know our unions are on the verge of negotiations, so, and that's a huge conversation, is AI. So, our jobs could potentially be altered greatly or replaced. There are certain jobs that might disappear. We're hoping picture editing stays, but there, other things are a little bit, we're trying to negotiate, not wait, like I'm not doing it, but, to keep our jobs, basically. It's as simple as that, to work with it in a way that we can still work.
That we can still work together.
Jobs, yeah.
Yes, because it's very important to have people. I don't want to talk. I learned today I don't want to talk to a computer. There's a human being who's saying, no, let me do this. It makes a difference.
There's no text-based editing, so you can actually get your script and just pick out sentences and have it just choose that, and then I'm an editor. I'm not usually on a microphone, and so you can just get sentences from the script, and then you're editing your movie. You could do a rough cut that way, which is okay, but I prefer to see the performances, sit down, I feel the movies. I don't it's not technical for me when I'm making a movie. Visual effects, yes, but editing, no.
Do you work remotely?
Yes.
And how is that experience for you? Are you all on a Zoom, or I don't want to say a Zoom, is there some kind of, how do you all communicate with each other, like with the director or?
Okay, well it's actually a combination. So I'll edit the assembly edit by myself.
Right.
And lately I've been getting footage after they're shot, which is a little bit of a bummer, because I like to be able to say, can you get me some B-roll, or can you shoot this angle, because there's nothing, we don't know what we're looking at. So I'll assemble a movie, and I'll do everything that makes it look like maybe somebody that doesn't know movies wouldn't know any different, and then I'll show that to the directors, and then we'll go from there. And so the directors go to a screening, and I've made the movie for them, and then we start working together in person.
Okay.
Except for COVID. So
Right.
we kind of had to do a little, when COVID came back again, we had to do Zooms, and it actually worked pretty well. We were surprised, because the guys were coming in from New York City.
Yeah.
And working at my house in Montclair.
Which is great, which gets us back to Jersey.
Yeah.
And, trying to accomplish these big tasks and these big productions, and we mentioned this before, how do we do it economically, yet cinematically, so we can keep that level of entertainment high? And what's nice is we're going to talk to Janice, and I'm just curious, I want you to talk about what your experience has been with film and television. Let's talk about it coming to New Jersey. How has that affected you, communities, the economic impact to the state?
Sure, absolutely. First of all, it's like I'm geeking out as well, because I'm listening to all this. I love film and TV. This to me is a passion. It's an avocation, not a vocation. So, to listen to what all you guys are talking about, I'm like, I'm going to go home and my husband's going to have to listen to me. But, it's interesting. So I kind of created a role for myself because, again, I've inserted myself because I love it and because I love New Jersey. New Jersey, born and raised, I am Jersey through and through. And I think we have so much to offer. We are such a diverse state. And the governor has created a legacy. This tax program, what started out small and has continued to grow, and now we are at the bricks and mortar. So even if someone were to say the tax incentive ends in 34, we have brick and mortar here. That's not going away. So this incentive is going to be a long-term legacy for this governor, for this administration, and I applaud. Because for communities like mine, it has been an economic driver. When projects come in, and I'm going to pick on David Schoner over there. He and I are on the phone daily. Productions come in, and this is the first thing I learned. Productions take the path of most resistance.
We do.
And the production and the tax incentive came right before COVID. So towns are sort of kind of learning about it, but most of them know nothing about film production, and they know what they see on TV. And then now all of a sudden productions want to go into these small towns. And what I've been able to do, because I understand some production language, but I also obviously understand municipal government.
Yes.
So, production comes in and they're like, oh, well, we want to use a farm, we want to burn a building, and we want to shoot this. And I'm like, okay, so we're going to go talk to the mayor who's never done a film in town whatsoever. We're not starting with we're going to burn a building. We are not starting that way. We're not going to scare them. But what we've seen, and what I've been able to do is really help the towns navigate. I mean, we've got the Film Ready, which is an awesome program, but there's still always a lot of questions that pop up. Newark knows how to do it, Jersey City knows how to do it, Patterson knows how to do it, because they get productions all the time.
Yes.
Towns like Clinton, although I'm always the bridesmaid, never the bride, but Hunterdon County is getting some productions. And what I do is really help the production navigate. I've got the connections throughout the state. So if I need to call the DEP and say, listen, we need to do a burn, even though we're in the middle of Canadian wildfires, can you make that happen? I could make that phone call and harass the commissioner while he was on a flight for vacation. But it really, the towns see the benefit. So it's a zero footprint, right? The production comes in, they do what they're going to do, they spend money locally. We see our small business communities winning huge, because coffee shops, they're hard. But when a production comes into town and spends $3,000 or $4,000 a week on coffee,
Which we do.
that's significant, right? Dry cleaning, all of these things that you don't think about. Sometimes there's a financial benefit to the town if they're going to use some town facilities, but it's also great. One of the things I've really talked to a lot of individuals about is put your home up. New Jersey has such great architecture. I come from a town with, dates back to the late 1700s, early 1800s. So we've got all this amazing architecture. We've got the most photographed location in the state of New Jersey with the Red Mill. It is on the front page of the state website, I think, still. But it's just, there's so much to offer. And by creating that role where the towns aren't afraid, and what's good is when the town says, oh, that may be pushing it just a little bit much, they can then fall back on the film commission. The film commission can be the bad guy. So it's not the town that's the bad guy,
Yes.
but it really is we're doing all that we can. And it's been great relationships. I mean, productions that shut down during the strike have a couple of weeks left to film, and they want to come back to Jersey
Yes.
because we work with them and we make it happen however we need to make it happen. I have sold my soul a few times to some mayors, and I may have offered up my children as free labor, but again, it's for the experience of being in New Jersey.
And it's a wonderful experience. I mean, having done a lot of work in the state, we can do things that I feel could not be done in New York, Los Angeles. The amount of cooperation with the commissioner, David Schoner, and all of you, though, we really appreciate it, because we are guests in your house, your towns, and we can be piggy. I'm not gonna lie. We can
But
say,
you're awesome guests.
and we do love to be guests, and we don't want to really burn a location. That's a rule that I have on all my shows. I'm like, no, I don't want any bad blood, because we want to be here for a long time. And just a quick shout out to a dear friend of mine, Marcy Clark. She has a company called scoutsource.com, Marcy. You can put your house up there. You can have people come and
Used you many times.
scout. Yes, Marcy and her team have a wonderful resource that's available for producers, for anyone who wants to come in and you want to CGI burn a house or something. Easy. You go to Marcy. She'll give you a great house, which is wonderful. And thank you so much. And you mentioned the Film Ready program, which I can't wait to talk about with Elizabeth. We are always looking for communities, people who can come, who live in the state, who don't know how a film set works, who want to help us out. And could you please tell us more and tell the audience more? Because it's really fantastic.
Yes, well, Film Ready is I feel like a baby we've birthed, and it's continuing to grow. But just to give you a little context here on why we even developed and created the Film Ready program, just to give you perspective here. So the New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Commission has existed since 1978, and that's when we kind of started tracking the economic impact in filming in New Jersey. And to give you this perspective, since 1978, we've hosted over 26,000 productions in New Jersey and contributed over $4 billion to New Jersey's local economy since 1978. That's about 46 years. Just in the last 5 years since the Garden State Digital Media Tax Credit Program was reinstated by Governor Murphy, we've grossed over $2.3 billion in the state just in 5 years. So just to give you that macro perspective here. And so what that means is, so all this economic impact that's coming to the state, that means that there's an influx of production activity in the state. And so, a lot of times people say that government is reactive, but this is a very proactive program in that we want to train, we want to educate local municipalities on what's to come, how to welcome film productions to your town. And so our mantra and slogan has been stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And so that's why there's the Film Ready program, and it's pretty catchy, I think. And so we're training municipalities on what to expect, how to welcome productions. And then we're not only training them, but it's the benefit of the side to the productions where they know that they can come into towns and there's film-friendly towns that can welcome them. New Jersey is, I think, one of the only states that can replicate any other region in the country. And because of that, that's why production companies come and want to film in New Jersey on location. Since we are a very diverse state, a lot of production has really been concentrated in the North Jersey area. So you have like the Norks and Pattersons, which are very used to filmmaking. But then you have locations like Powell's Grove or Atlantic Highlands or, somewhere out in Sussex County or even in South Jersey that are have been a little bit more hesitant or just not knowing, dispelling the misconceptions that go along with filming. And so this program empowers them and educates them on how to communicate with productions. So we offer it through it's a 5-step marketing program. It's a certification program. And so we offer it as, starting with a workshop where I call it whipping municipalities into shape. And we teach them on, do you need an ordinance or not? Just having a structure in place of filming guidelines. Do you need a film-ready liaison, that point person that can liaise with production companies and with our office? How to market your town as a filming location, because I always say when one municipality in a state wins, the entire state wins. New Jersey wins when we bring film production here. And then we teach them about how to promote their local resources in the state. So as Commissioner Kovach had said, Mayor Kovach had said, they're using all the businesses when they come into town. It's like a small army that descends upon a community, and they're utilizing the local resources. And so, we have all these steps that are in place. And to build a structure, we have a lot of municipalities in the state of New Jersey, so it's not like New York. You go to New York, you get one film permit. When you come to New Jersey, you literally have to go to every town to get a permit. You're not coming to the film commission. And because of that, it's like every town wants to do their own thing sometimes.
It's called home rule.
Yes. We're building a standard here. Film Ready is the standard. If you want to be promoted as a film-ready location, we encourage them to sign up for this wonderful program, and we've been going through the certification process.
I'm so excited because I want more. I come to New Jersey and I'm like, well, I've cheated Ohio, I've cheated Montauk in New Jersey. We cheat New York City all the time. Don't tell anybody. Up in Fort Lee, we do it everywhere. It's doable. And I talk to studios and I say, we can do this in New Jersey. What? No way. Yes way. It's so close to New York. We have such a wonderful talent pool. It's very, very easy to do. So thank you. I really appreciate all of the work you're putting into that program. I think it's wonderful. Nina and I will benefit from that. If we didn't know, it's also February. It's March. It's Women's Month. It's Women's History Month. I'm sorry, I'm off a long day on set. And we're all women up here. And I would like to talk about what it's like to be a woman in our industry. And I'm going to start with you, Sara. How do you feel? Tell me some of your stories, if you have any.
I have a
Getting
lot
where
of
you got to
stories.
get. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
What are the
Well, I
challenges
started in
of
the
being a
80s.
woman in this industry?
Now
Now.
or in the 80s?
Well, that would be a 2-hour panel of the 80s
no,
and
it's
90s.
getting a little better for sure. I mean, when I started out, it was really rough, honestly. Really, really rough. Yeah, I could write a book, and it would be like a R-rated book, really. It's just as a woman on set or in the editing room, and there was no rules back then. There was no Me Too. There was no rules. So yeah, next.
Catherine?
Well, like my background's a little bit different than everyone up here. I would say that now, it always amazes me. I'm always pleasantly surprised the number of women that are out there. So I think I tend to personally seek them out. When I'm asked to do events like this, I love it. We're based in Asbury Park, so things are really revving up down there as far as Netflix coming to Fort Monmouth. And our film community there, we have a film meetup, is starting to, we're pretty surprised every month that we have it. There's always, it started out there was 20, the next month there's 30, the next month there's 40. We're running out of spaces to go to. That has been really interesting. There's a lot of women filmmakers through that I've met. The woman who started Bread and Roses Film Festival. So there's just, I would say that, so far for me, it's been pretty positive. Also, just some of our clients, we're working with Billboard Women in Music.
Right.
That was huge, and that's also through Red Rock Entertainment, which is a Live Nation group, and the VP of production there is a woman. So I don't know. I think it's been, I know it's been, there are a lot of women who have paved that way, that have been trailblazers. So first of all, thank you to all of them. And so for people like me that have joined Image 819 more in the more recent years, I'm pretty surprised at who's out there. But you also have to seek that out, and you have to really take those opportunities and find them and get people. Some other women are just sort of maybe sitting back saying like, oh, I'm the only one, but I'm one of those people that will say, come on, let's get some more women together. Let's get out there. So I think that there's a big part of that. I'm a natural networker, and I love chatting with people and meeting new people. So I say yes to a lot of things.
And it's important, I think, as being, who we are, it's important to mentor. I feel like I'm at the stage in my life where I say it a lot, pay it forward. Mm-hmm. How do we, look, I'm not gonna be doing this forever, and who's gonna, we wanna share our knowledge and help people come up. I like to do that towards women and try and mentor women. I was gonna ask Nina if you do the same thing on set. Would you have?
I definitely do. When I started also in the 80s and chose to go in the direction of Directors Guild of America, as a second assistant director, and then became a first assistant director. And like anything, if people question your abilities, you just need to have a strong backbone and show them that you know what you're talking about, and come up with good schedules or good budgeting and make it all happen. There are a lot more women in the industry now, but at the time, it was me pushing around a mostly male crew, could be 50 or more people, and over time they learned to listen to me because I knew what I was talking about, or I came up with good plans, or wasn't afraid to say, you know what, that's better.
You didn't back down.
No. Or I at least acknowledged somebody's better plan and went with that. I didn't have to, hold a torch and keep going even if it wasn't the best idea. So, like anything in any industry, you've got to just show people that you know what you're talking about. And You don't have to play the female card, the male card. It's about the work. So.
And Kim, do you feel that way about being a business owner? And
Yeah, I mean, the two things I have two stories about gender. The first was, I want to say it was around 2010, and I was a network exec. There was one night at dinner where we were out, all network execs. I was the only woman, and at a certain point in the evening, all of the men were kind of bragging about how much they were on the road, and like bragging about missing kids' birthdays, and bragging. It was almost like it was kind of a who was the more accomplished exec, how much they were needed at their job, and what they'd given up in their life. And I just thought, like, I feel so sorry for you, right? Like, how awful that this is your culture. And I was very fortunate that I had two really strong female mentors who showed me that there was a different way of doing it, right? I also saw, to my second story, that both of these women around 2010, shortly after they hit age 50, the contracts weren't renewed, right? And I think that this industry, it's an industry that's hard on age, no matter your gender. I think it's especially hard on women. And at that point, I thought, all right, like, if I'm going to have hopefully a little bit more agency over what happens to me when I'm near 50, like, I better have my own company. Like, that honestly was what made me start a company. Because I was watching these women who were so good at what they did, right? And it was like, we're going to bring in the new. We're going to bring in the less expensive new. Right? And that's really hard. But, I think the thing that is so wonderful about being a woman is that they're really good at supporting one another, right? Yes. Like, thank God for the women that I've had in my life, and for just having, like, the incredible satisfaction of being able to mentor younger women. Like, when you have the hardest day at work, and then you realize that you've actually, like, that's given you experience that you can help somebody else, and so that maybe when they like hit the same challenges, it'll be a little bit easier for them, right?
Oh, 100%.
Or that you're just there so that they can say, like, man, today sucked, right? And I think that, like, it's wonderful that we have that, and it's a part of our culture, right? So
it's so gratifying. I've had two of my assistants join the Directors Guild of America, and they're production managers now. I bumped into one of them on the street who I hadn't seen in a long time. And she came up and she was exhausted, and she was like, is it always going to be this hard? How do you do this? And I was just like, learn A, B, C, D, E, keep working at it, keep going, don't give up, always ask questions, and know that you can always reach out. So yeah, it's I've had wonderful female mentors too, who kind of just help guide the way and get you up there. And it takes time, but it does, it's such a wonderful support system. So it's important. I was going to open it up to the floor if anyone had questions. I think everyone, you've been so great. So is there anybody out there who has any questions to ask? Yes?
Do you have any updates on Netflix really opening and when that's all going to happen? I live close to there.
Well, you probably can answer better. I just read the article. There was a new article that just came out about how they're going to be using the land and what some of their requirements are, where some things are going to be there. If you Google it, there is a lot online, but I'm sure you guys know a little bit more.
They're on track to continuing to go through their process. I think it's expected they're supposed to break ground or open in not for a few years, but the Netflix project is very much on track, as well as other studios in state.
Just so you know, too, the land use aspect of it is really what delays a lot of the work, because there's so many state agencies. That's a redevelopment agency. Then you also have the state DEP and DOT and all the other alphabet letters out there that all have a stake in making sure that it's done right.
We had originally reached out to the senator's office in Monmouth County, just because that's where we're based, and we wanted to just keep close to it and find out more about what's happening. So we did get invited to one of the meetings. They had a small meeting at Monmouth University, and yeah, I think they said that they're looking for the first production to be in 2025. So they won't build all of the 12 sound stages and all of the things, but I think that they're working really hard. And also it straddles 3 jurisdictions, 3 townships, Eatontown, Tinton Falls, and Oceanport. So they have to get approvals from each one of those towns. But they are definitely moving forward. And it's very exciting. I mean, you were talking earlier, Janice, about how it affects, a community. We used to live in Los Angeles, and we moved back here in 2017. And I think that just started coming online around then. And when you live in a place like LA, and I'm sure somebody out here has lived there, you're just immersed in that world, whether you're in it or not. There's just stores and rental shops. They're just everywhere. Prop shops. You just stumble across them. You don't even pay attention to it. They're just there. And we've had some friends who are like, "Why are you so in on this Netflix thing?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Dry cleaning, coffee shops, all of it, everything, hardware, tape, cables."
Lumber,
sometimes
lights, you clothes.
Yeah, sometimes my
Clothes,
business
clothes,
partner
clothes.
and I, he's here, he's over there, Matt. We laugh. Sometimes we're like, we'll just take the golf cart contract. It's gonna be a big deal, and I'm really excited for the county, the towns. For us, we made a great real estate investment, but there is a lot of information online and on the government website and everything, so you can find a lot of it there.
So are there any other studios that are opening?
Yeah, Lionsgate in Newark. There's a CX one in Atlantic City. They took over the piers there. It's about 250,000 square feet. Right now, it's just the practical locations, but they have a lot of plans to build out and have stages and studio. There's the Carteret project, 1888 studios in Bayonne. So a lot of infrastructure.
Shameless
New
plug,
Jersey.
I'm a co-owner in Mile End Studios in Kearney, New Jersey, which is a wonderful 70,000 square foot space. But yeah, it's what makes us, when I say us, I mean New Jersey, different than other studios. We have parking. Magic word, parking. I know it sounds crazy, but you can park your trucks, you can park your cars, the crew can park. It's that to not talk about crew parking in a day is a good day for me. Yes.
Which one did you say was in Kearney?
It's called Mile End Studios. There are 3 studios there. Mile End, David, help me out.
Mile End,
Palisades,
Basin.
and 10 Basin. But Mile End has the most square footage of parking.
Yeah, and we have about 30 studios and counting, which people
Yeah.
don't really realize in New Jersey.
Right.
Is that in Kearney and where all the industrial areas?
Yes. Yes. Which is lovely because I blow things up and no one can hear it. So it's good.
And are they hiring?
Not yet, but we're in a funny time. It's, again, now we're going into a correction in the industry. It's economic, and we are optimistic that things will get better, probably in this summer, fall. It's been a challenging year for a lot of people and businesses, and so we're hoping in the summer and the fall things will pick up again. I don't know if it'll ever be quite the boom that we've been experiencing the past 5 years, but come on, raise your hand if you're looking for something new to watch on TV. The people have spoken, so we are optimistic for sure. Yes.
I just wanted to say, as someone who comes from talent, that young talent is really excited about New Jersey. I'm one of the few. There's not a lot of actors here. There should be a lot more, but they're starting to move from New York. I'm trying to drag out as many as I can. Cut my teeth on Lucky 8 Productions, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you. And just saying that the actors are noticing.
That's cool.
And the crew as well. They're noticing. Everyone's talking Jersey. Maple, let's move to Maplewood. Let's move to Rutherford. Let's move. Oh,
Isn't
yeah,
Maplewood
or
the new
Montclair,
Brooklyn?
Montclair's the new Brooklyn.
Okay, sorry. All the Brooklyn people are in Asbury Park, FYI. But
I thought they were in Montclair.
There's not enough that say Montclair yet because it's too pricey, but they're saying the
Yeah.
adjacent neighborhoods. So
I just want to say something about, to just kind of jump off of that. I think another really amazing opportunity we have as a state is the really younger generation, like high school. One of the things that Matt and I, we realized we get asked if we could take interns a lot. And it's very hard because we don't have, our business is very cyclical. So we can't have, interns sitting around in between jobs. It just doesn't make sense. And then also we work really stupid hours, right? So sometimes we're babysitting renders during the middle of the night, and you can't ask like a kid to do that, right? I mean, I guess you could, but you can't. So one of the things we decided to commit to, and Elizabeth and I have talked about this a lot, is doing as many career days as we can, sharing our knowledge with schools. We've gotten involved with Winslow Township. Forget what county they're in. Are they Cumberland? They're outside of Philly kind of area. A couple weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, we just did something at a vocational public high school, which is Communications High. And these kids are, we didn't have that. I grew up in New Jersey, but we didn't have that kind of, you just studied college prep and you went, that was it. And these kids are so into what they do, and they're so young. They're so young, and they're like journalists, and they have TV productions, and they have broadcasts, and they're making movies, and they're creating their own magazines. They're so rich. And these are public schools. And I often say, gosh, I wish we had the money. Our studio had the money to just open up a film school in Asbury Park. You don't necessarily have to go to film school or college. And I'm not dissing college, trust me. I went to art school and all that, but I'm just saying not everybody has that opportunity. Not everyone is fortunate. So I think as a group, as a collective community, we really have an opportunity to mentor, engage, and just get as excited as they are and help them through the process.
Because they teach us, they teach me. They're doing, the younger generation is doing stuff on their phones, and I'm like, what is that? They show me, and I'm like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I think, and you just hit such a really great point in that the workforce development piece, I think that's the last piece in New Jersey to seal us really well. We've made, investments with our tax incentive program. We have, crew now, but of course, how do we scale, for the production activity? We're seeing so much production activity now, but imagine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, how do we keep up with that and train the next generation of talent? And so I will say that, that is in the works, and building a robust program in the state of New Jersey, coming out of the governor's office and the EDA soon. There will be that piece there, the workforce development piece. And so, we are reaching out to stakeholders in the state of New Jersey to make sure that we seal that last piece there to make sure we, propel New Jersey continue to propel us into the forefront.
And then no one will ever leave the state of New Jersey.
And just to add to that point, I can't state enough, the governor has really invested and believes in this industry as, the up-and-coming industry and what's going to keep New Jersey on the map. And I think that's one of the important things to remember with him. He really, and I know that he took a lot of heat when the tax credit first came back, because when the previous administration got rid of the tax credit, no one wanted it. And when he was first talking about it, I remember when he was running and he was talking about bringing the tax credit back, and then people were like, oh, we don't want, because of course what they say, we don't want the Jersey Shore. That became kind of the moniker of what the film programs were. So, he stuck to it, and he made sure he spent time in LA. So he spent time with the studios to understand what the needs were. It wasn't just I kind of pulled this out of the sky and said, we're going to do this. He really believed in it, and he's used the resources that have been available to him. And to your point, he knows that we need to create a future for, the arts in New Jersey. And this is one of the best ways to do it, because there's so many opportunities. And you're right, the kids know more on their phone than I do. I still can't figure out how to do half the stuff.
It's true. It's very true. Yes.
I'm very new. I would say 2 days old in this world. I moved to America 6 years ago. I'm a psychologist. And when I moved to America, I decided why not to change my career. I was so happy. So I'm a photographer now. And to improve my storytelling, I started studying cinema, filmmaking, days old in this industry, what would you say? Like, what is the demand? What could I study more? What can I get better to work in this industry? You mentioned like high school, but what about me that just decided I want to change my life and I work with you guys? So what could I do?
Well, what do you want to do? Like, what's your...
The production, being around people writing, or I'm a photographer, so I have the vision, the art vision, and I want to be involved in production. I want to see things working, creating,
Right.
you know, so I don't even know how to start.
So one of the things, and I don't know if we have a date for PA boot camp, but
Mention
we have a production assistant boot camp, which, by the way, I failed. So I'm obviously not meant to take direction in any way, shape, or form. But it's a 2-day intensive training that really gives you, obviously it's at the starter level, but if you want to understand how it works, starting out as a production assistant and going through that boot camp, I think is one of the best ways. I mean, I stayed for the program. Like I said, I'm never going to quite make it as the PA, but knowing what they put them through and understanding, and most of our PAs that go through boot camp get hired.
Yes.
Because the productions are always looking for something. And Liz, you could probably talk a little bit more to it.
Yeah, we've hosted about, since 2019, maybe about 6 or 7 PA boot camps. It's been on a little bit of a pause there, just as we look at a more robust training program in New Jersey. But that's your entryway pathway into the industry. And we see so many production assistants have gone on to make quite great careers in the industry. But as Commissioner Kovach just said, I think you need to figure out where do you want to be your specialization, because there's what we've done a little bit of a study in where what types of jobs are hemorrhaging really in the industry. And Gail, I'm sure you know those key level jobs like costume designer or set decorator or things like that. You need to really chisel down on what path you want to take, because there are pathways, and I would say I always advocate for below the line, of course above the line, but below the line, there's a pathway into the industry, into good union paying jobs. When we talk about the film and television industry, of course there's writers, there's directors, there's executive producers, but there's so many other pathways into the industry, as well as I just mentioned, a set decorator, or grip, or if you're in the construction industry, just tailor it to the film and television industry, where you're building a wall, flyaway wall, instead of a permanent structure where someone's going to live in a house. So there's so many pathways into the industry, and I think really get interested.
We don't see all this path. So like, who should I talk to first? Where should I go first?
Well, I think
I'm glad I found the place.
I highly recommend the PA boot camp, because I will say this. You get the PA boot camp, I need 25 PAs on a big day. We're going to call, and we're going to get names, and you're going to come to set, and you're going to have a walkie-talkie, and people are going to be talking in your ear all day. But what my advice is, and I always say this to production assistants who come in, that is such an opportunity for you, because you can stand there and watch the madness, the chaos. It's controlled chaos, but you can see everything. You'll see the camera, you'll see sound, you'll see costumes. Look around, listen, absorb. What do you gravitate towards? What do you see that you might want to do and learn more of? And that's a stepping stone. And you go from there, and you smile, and you get to know people, because we'll talk to anybody. We love to talk to everybody. And that's how you learn that community. And you say, oh, you know what? I think I want to try this out. And if I need a PA for that, and that's where you start. So that's a wonderful resource.
So also get connected with our office. And because I'll let you know when we have our next PA boot camp. So hopefully that will be soon, in the next month or so. We don't have a date
Hopefully
yet. But
soon.
yeah, hopefully before the summer.
Perfect.
Yes.
Also, I would just say something as simple as Staff Me Up. Just put your name on and your credits on Staff Me Up, and say that you're looking for PA work. And that's where, when you are going to find 25 PAs that you need in 48 hours, people are just pulling from Staff Me Up, and they're seeing who's available.
This is not so much a question as further stuff. So I'm in the industry, I work in sound. And when people ask me how I got into it, I always think, how did I get into it? It was a long, circuitous, weird
Yeah.
I mean, I was fortunate because I came up in the 90s, and there was a significant amount of non-union shooting happening because everyone thought they were going to be the next Tarantino. So it was a robust non-union field. It was great because you could literally be on a set and like one department be like, you know, we need someone. So I had the opportunity to work a lot with the department. Not so much the case anymore because things have gotten very unionized.
Right.
But I would agree that PA is the private first class. I mean, a film set is run very much like a military. And ideally nobody dies, but there are days, as we all know. But it runs the same way. Years ago I did this a recruitment, a long format recruitment film that was shown on MTV at night. You know, you can be part of it. And the similarities between the structure in the military and a film set is incredibly similar. So PA is boots on the ground, private first class, and everyone is important. Now, you might be further down the line, but literally and I've always had a problem with this, but being on time is kind of the biggest part of your job.
Yes.
Because literally the machine, like a watch, cannot function without that call. So anyone who's missing, it drags on the whole production. But like, I was doing it.
Okay.
I was.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's my husband. We met on the set of Law & Order SVU. PA program. PA. Thank you, Jensen.
Also,
Love you, babe.
Gail. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Hi everyone. So I want to piggyback off of what you said, and then kind of in combination of what the other young lady said. So if we don't take the college route, what type of support does New Jersey offer indie filmmakers? Like, what is that possible? Because being a PA, so I'm interested in being a director. So what does that look like? Getting a project off the ground. What type of support does New Jersey offer?
Well, in terms of, the New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Commission, we service big level productions all the way down to student filmmakers. Our motto has always been to say that when we take care of the student filmmakers, we know that they'll probably come back to New Jersey when they get a budget, a large size budget, and they'll film in New Jersey, and that historically has happened. As far as any incentive type of programs for indie filmmakers, we don't have any currently right now. Our tax incentive program is set up where you really need to be over a certain type of threshold to get a financial incentive because you're going to be spending a lot of your money with CPAs. So you need to be at a certain level tier project to even make it worth it. But our office does offer the same assistance that we provide to any other type of production and studio. We'll help you with location selection. So if you want to film in certain areas, we offer that same type of service. We offer services as far as helping you to connect to resources and to others who may be in the area, production resources that you need.
Are you looking to get your foot in the door, or are you?
So it's a mixture of both. So
Yeah.
now you piqued my interest when you said student filmmakers. So I actually had, forgive me, I can't remember his last name, but Dave came to do a presentation.
David Schoner.
Schoner. He was
just there.
Where did
He
he go?
just left. He had another meeting.
He came to do a presentation at Rutgers, and then he was saying, you don't have to leave. There's an industry right here. But if you're saying that you get more, if you offer more support to student filmmakers, I feel like that's kind of like an incentive to get more help.
Yeah. Even, a major part of our Film Ready program, when we look at ordinances, we scour through very thoroughly our ordinances, and we make sure that there's no filming fee or a very low filming fee for student filmmakers. So you're not paying that large filming fee. So we try to make it look at all levels where we encourage student filmmakers to film in New Jersey. So we offer the same type of red glove service of what you need to get your project off of the ground.
I also would look at some social media. Obviously, has some great groups for indie filmmakers. The film festivals are always a great opportunity because sometimes there's financial incentives. There is an email, I get it weekly. It's film.tv, I think. I can give it to you afterwards, but it all has grants for filmmakers, to try and go out that way. I mean, and there's so many meetups, like you talked about.
Well, that's
in
what I was going
Asbury
to
Park.
say is, look locally. I was going to say this to you as well. Look locally to see if there are any meetups, because it's a great, look, I'm all about networking. This is how my entire, I do a presentation on my professional life as a constellation, because it's not like I just climbed a ladder. It's like I look back and every job I ever had, every single one since I graduated college, and I graduated in 1988, so now you know my age, is through somebody I knew. Every single one. And I started my career as a designer in the architecture and design industry. And I mean, now I'm in this because of my husband and my business partner, but it's because of what I learned along the way. And I really wouldn't have gotten those if I didn't keep meeting people. So I think meetups are great. Maybe doing some projects with people. Maybe there's not that much money in it, but you can just do a project with another group from a meetup. I think there are Slack channels that you can get on, and Discord channels that are always, I know we always hear them popping up in the office, that people are looking for PAs and they're looking for staff people. So those are great ways to just get involved.
Yes.
If I could follow up on the idea of the meetups and the social media, I run a group.
There you go.
Filmmakers networking group called Northern New Jersey Film People.
Great.
It's open to all of these people, and if you're a beginner, right out of 2 days in, you can come to the meetups we have every month in the Montclair area. You meet a lot of people who want you to work on their production for free, but they're mostly lower level productions, independent, very independent things. But that's how you get in. You learn how it's done, and that leads you to paying you.
And that's wonderful, because you should go. Because you know what? People want to make films. And I always tell everyone, make your film. There are actors who want to be, who need the practice. You need, it's all a craft. And go make it. And get your friends, and they'll all help out. It's amazing. I want to make a little film. My husband wants to make a film. We have a whole group of people who will help us for free. Let's do it. Why not?
Well, Asbury Park had a film challenge.
Yes.
It was make a 3-minute film in 3 weeks, because nobody could do it in 3 days. So they changed it to 3 weeks. And, we did one, and now we have it in the Garden State Film Festival next week. So, there are things like that are, you are manageable, that kind of just get you exposure.
This gentleman makes a wonderful point. Like, the people that I worked with on previews, like I literally I wanted to get in, I went to NYU, there were things on the board, this was years ago, we didn't have, and I just worked on a bunch of stuff for free. And then guess what? I would run into those people on film later, or once you build up a group of friends, even if none of you are in the industry, one of you eventually will get a foot in to help the other.
It really is. It is all about networking. It's all about networking. Yes, Sarah?
I was also going to say that the 2 films that one that I worked on, Summoning Sylvia, and the upcoming one that I'm going to work on were funded by Slated, or on this site called Slated, so you could put your script up there. Has anyone heard of this? Yeah, I don't know if it's fairly new. I don't really understand how it works, but these scripts are graded on viability, and then funding comes through.
Amazing.
So just check it out. I might be misquoting stuff, but that's how we're funding our movie. And we're also going to shoot it in New Jersey as well.
Yay.
For New York.
Yes.
I also had a question. I work with Elizabeth at the NJEDA, and I also have a background in television. I work for a couple of daytime talk shows, but I've been out of the industry for about a year and 7 months. But I also serve on the Board of Education of my municipality, and I do visit our classrooms because we have a TV and film production class. And my question is, how do the high school students kind of solidify those mentorships? Because you guys talk a lot about, having that strong support system. And although I went the college route, I did PA, and I was able to work my way up through that. When you're in high school, they don't know about all the different career opportunities. So how do they kind of solidify those mentorships with, people that are really established in their career that maybe might not recognize them? Or how do they build that confidence to go out and initiate those conversations?
I think some of it. I mean, I know that Elizabeth and David and others go out to the schools. I think it's part of it, yeah, career days, but part of it is the schools also have to do some outreach. Like that I would put that on the director of the program to say, all right, I'm gonna, do outreach for my students, because you can't put it on 15, 16-year-old kids to try and figure out, unless they know someone in the industry, it's gonna be, I mean, I would have wanted when I was 16 or 17 to do this, and I would have had no idea where to begin. I kind of fell into it through politics. But I think, and maybe as part of, as we're moving forward, as we kind of expand what we're offering in the way of education, there is a communication through the state DOE that lets them know that for film programs, there are these opportunities. I know we do it for others, so.
The career days are pretty robust at the two schools that we just started working with. So yeah, I would say it's really up to them to help those students, to kind of shepherd them to like the next level, or reach out and follow up with some of the people. We always bring business cards, so we do get people that will email us afterwards. And okay, yeah, if I'll give you my card afterwards, but we're definitely very open to that. It's the way we can give back. It's like I said, it's hard for us to take interns, so this is our way of kind of helping the next generation. We're really committed to that as a company.
That's great. Any other questions? Anybody? Yes.
I'm sure you guys heard about the Tyler Perry thing. Where
Yeah.
he's how freaked out are you guys about AI and all that?
Freaked.
Well, just in the sense that, we're clearly in a technological change. I know the news guys, nobody knows what's going on. Do you think will prevail? Look at what's happened to the music industry. You can record a record in your living room. I keep waiting for the day when it's like, you know what? Everybody go home. We're going to shoot this on the app. So, any thoughts? What do you guys think?
I mean, trust us. We make content. That's our job. So like, someone can just go do it on AI now. We're just trying to stay close to it. We're not disregarding it because it's not going to stop. So we try to educate ourselves every day. We're on a lot of the platforms, teaching ourselves, learning how to use it, figuring out how it works. Sometimes it's amazing and sometimes it's really weird. And so that's the best we can do at this moment for us, for what our studio does. We're entering the end of our career, so maybe that's a good thing. But I think it's definitely, I don't really have an answer for that, but I just know that we're doing our best to figure it out and understand it as it is today. But it's hard to say, because a studio like ours, motion design, could technically be obsolete, which would be a shame. But
Which kind of leads me into our last thought. I'd like everyone to comment on. What would you say to somebody who's starting off in this industry, and what advice would you give them? Because we all come from different backgrounds. I'd like to hear a quick. Sarah?
I'm first again.
It's always
okay. As an editor or just in general?
Either. Maybe an editor.
Well, it's rough right now, so it's really hard to, it's kind of slow. Everybody I know is kind of not working at the moment, so just be patient and it'll pick back up again. I know that I'm going to be doing a film soon in May, so there's going to be, I have that to look forward to, and then I think it'll start rolling unless the editors and the IATSE go on strike, and then we have a little issue there. So,
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I think we had a reset, right? We had a lot of different things that have kind of been thrown at us, and I think to your point, it's be patient. It's stay up on what's happening. Don't, just assume that there's going to be a direction, because there is no clear direction for a lot. But, it's about passion. It's about, this is what you want to do, and this is what you're going to work towards, and be adaptable, because you have a new normal, and that new normal is going to change daily.
I would say that, staying connected. I mean, I know the AI thing is a thing, but it's like so big. I think staying connected to people and being very thoughtful about your business and what you want to do. I know it's hard when you're starting out, but I know Elizabeth said, and Janice, what think about what you want to do and how you're going to go after that. That's really important because you can't really have a strategy. I'm just going to throw whatever sticks and see what, I'm going to throw everything out there and see what sticks. We have this conversation a lot every week in our studio. Like, we get asked for a job. We can do it. Can we do that? We can do that. But is it what we want to do? Does it feel right? Does it work within our wheelhouse? And being very deliberate and thoughtful about that. So coming up with a strategy, and I'm not saying that you have to stick to something, right? Because you want to, when different opportunities knock, you want to take advantage of them as well. But I think staying connected, with whether that means staying connected as a studio within your own team or staying connected with your industry or a network, and really keeping those lines of communication open would be, what I think is. I don't remember what the question was, really. I mean, what were we talking about? We were talking about AI, and then we switched to I don't know. Be human. Be human.
What advice would you give to someone getting into the business?
Okay, that's my advice.
I would say don't move out of New Jersey.
Very good answer.
Because
very good answer.
We've got it all. New Jersey is the birthplace of the filming industry, and a lot of people don't know that. And so we're bringing the industry back to New Jersey. It's funny how we hear, I read an article that said that New Jersey is now becoming the Hollywood East. And my executive director, Steve Gorlick, always says, he counters that and says, well, perhaps Hollywood is New Jersey West.
Ooh.
So there is a lot of potential in New Jersey. I can't say, we don't have a crystal ball here, but I would say keep plugging and become a master at your craft. A master at your craft. Because then they're going to, it's like a fruit tree. People come for fruit. And what fruit are you producing? When you are a master at your craft, you easily can move in the industry.
Thank you, Nina.
That was very well put. I would suggest that you do become familiar with AI. And like any change in an industry, you want to stay a little bit ahead of it, educate yourself. You might not be able to embrace it in your own line of work, but know what's happening and how you can pivot to incorporate that if you need to. I agree. It's very important to continue your connections with people without being too bothersome, but just, light touching base to remind people you're out here, you're interested, you're willing to work on whatever crazy project comes up. I've gone through periods where I've had people, say they'll come and work for me for free just so they can get a foot in, and I have a problem with that. I've done all of that, as many of us have, I'm sure. It's a great way to learn, but you have to also protect yourself and not be taken advantage of. So just continue your connections, and if you are convicted about really wanting to be in the industry, you will find a way. Something will happen for you.
Kim?
Everyone has given such good advice already. I can't top what's already been said. I think that I would maybe just reinforce the idea that I don't think that great content is going away. I remember when I was getting into the industry, cable was just starting, and my father was like, "Are you sure this is a business? Is it really a business? It's very new. Maybe you should still apply to law school. I mean, that'd be a good backup plan." And and cable has kind of grown, and now it's on the decline. But then you've got streamers, and what has remained is that people love watching good stories, right? We love it. That's not going anywhere. That's important. So I think that for anybody who's looking to get into the industry, just follow your heart, have passion, right? I think the PA job is a great idea because it is a great way to build relationships and see how the whole industry works. But do your own thing on the side too. You should be working on your script if that's what you want to do. You should be making your own movie if that's what you want to do. This isn't a job, it's a passion, right? Just don't treat it like a job, or it's not going to work out. You can get a better job in a different industry. You have to treat it like a passion.
No, thank you. I agree. It's long hours. It's hard work. If we didn't want to do it, we wouldn't be here. You really have to want to do it. And it can be very gratifying. And we have all been in rooms where we've told men, not going to work, we're going to do it this way. Doesn't matter. You just stand your ground and don't give up. That's my advice for everybody. And thank you for coming. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much to everybody that came tonight. We want to especially, again, thank the NJEDA for sponsoring this and making it a free event tonight.